Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. The first time I met Hopeton Sandokhan Brown, he was a grade 7 student at St.James High School in Montego Bay, where I was a teacher at the time. In that era, the 1990s, the school had a horrible reputation of churning out students who had serious behavioural issues. However, unlike some of the other hardcore students from the Canterbury community from where Brown hailed, he was an unassuming youngster who did not feature on the school radar as a troublemaker. After Brown graduated, I did not see or hear anything about him until January 2001, when I learned that he was the much feared gangster who was known in the streets of Jamaica and the United States as Sandokhan. It was during that time that he earned the title of both America and Jamaica's most wanted at the same time. I first became aware of Brown's international profile as a top-flight gangster in 2001 while watching an episode of Fox Network's America Most Wanted. While watching the episode, a picture of Brown popped up on the television screen. I quickly turned up the volume and I heard FBI Special Agent Jim Tucker of the Minnesota Gang Strike Force describing Brown as a stone-cold killer. The program also traced Brown's roots back to Canterbury in Montego Bay. It also stated that he was indicted for a 1997 murder in St. Paul, Minnesota, and was wanted on drugs, murder, and racketeering charges. In this edition of Lest You Forget, I will be looking at the story of how Brown became Jamaica's most wanted, which was spawned by an incident in Mount Salem, also in Montego Bay, where he allegedly shot and killed 2 men in a bizarre shooting incident in 2001. According to the story I wrote for The Gleaner, which was published on March 24, 2001, under the caption, Most Wanted, Dapper Alleged Killer, It Prime Time. It detailed the police report of the Mount Salem shooting. According to the police report, on the night of Sunday, January 14, 2001, 22-year-old Arabian Uglyman Taylor was shot and killed outside a party at a venue along Piggott Street in Mount Salem. The men reportedly got into an argument after Brown took objection to Taylor leaning on his car. One of the bullets, which was meant for Taylor, shot and killed 27-year-old Clement Wash McLean, who was asleep in his bed in a nearby boardhouse. The police immediately launched a manhunt for Brown, but he was not found. In fact, it was rumored that he had fled the island. In the America Most Wanted program, which provided an enactment of the murder Brown was accused of committing in Minnesota, a woman who was said to be in the apartment at the time of the murder and was shot in her head but luckily survived, stated the following. We were sitting there and they just walked in and just shot him. Oh God, they shot him, said the female survivor, describing a chilling incident in which her male companion was killed. Shortly after the Minnesota murder, 2 men, also from the Canterbury community, who were said to be Brown's accomplices in the murder, were nabbed by FBI agents. However, Brown escaped the dragnet and managed to escape. One of 2 9mm handguns taken from the men turned out to be the murder weapon. In June 2000, Brown was arrested in London, England, on an unrelated charge, and the FBI was alerted that he was in custody. However, before the FBI could prepare a provisional warrant asking that Brown be kept in custody pending an official extradition request, he was released. Once released, Brown promptly disappeared. After Brown went missing in London, he resurfaced in Jamaica, where he began living a lavish life. It was during that period that he was implicated in the Mount Salem shooting, which made him Jamaica's most wanted, as well as the FBI's most wanted at the same time. Brown came back on the local police's radar in 2004 when a resident of Montego Bay who was shot and injured in a garage invasion told the police that he recognized the man who shot him as Brown. On the night of March 21st, 2004, a police team that was responding to reports of a double murder in the Bartown community ran into a caravan of gangsters speeding away from Bartown. A gunfight erupted as the gangsters engaged the cops in a high-speed chase which ended in nearby Lilliput. When the shooting ended, one man was found dead with 2 guns on his body, a carbon 15 pistol with 15 rounds and a Colt .45 with 5 live rounds. At first, the police were not sure about the identity of the dead man, albeit it was being rumored in the streets that it was the elusive Brown. A police officer who was a part of the team which challenged the gangsters reportedly came very close to being killed as a bullet allegedly fired by Brown brushed his neck as the gangster stood his ground and engaged the police. "The boy nearly killed me," said police officer Sidney Brevet, rubbing the mark left on his neck by the bullet. 3 days after the shooting, several FBI agents flew into Montego Bay armed with Brown's fingerprint, which was reportedly secured from a crime scene in the United States. They went to the Delapena funeral home where the body was in storage and carried out forensic work. After they completed their work, they positively identified the body as that of Brown. The FBI subsequently put out an international release that he was dead and removed his name and photograph from their most wanted list. In looking back at the story about the rise, reign and demise of Hopeton Sandokhan Brown, it was definitely one of those unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Like and subscribe for more unforgettable stories.